Morning light filtered through Marcus's blinds, casting prismatic patterns across Naya's sleeping form. Her lavender skin seemed to glow from within, the subtle hue more pronounced in direct sunlight. Marcus watched her breathe, still disbelieving the night they'd shared, the gentle exploration, the electricity between them, the whispered confessions against skin. Taking mental photographs? Naya murmured without opening her eyes, a smile playing at her lips. Some things I want to remember without a camera, he replied, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Later, over coffee, Naya revealed more of her truth. My people are researchers, collectors of stories. We observe civilizations across galaxies, documenting their evolution. I was assigned to your world 3 of your years ago. So why reveal yourself to me? Why break your protocols? Marcus asked. Naya's gaze fell to her hands. Because I've been watching you specifically for months. Your photography. It captures quantum resonances no human should perceive. And then? I began to feel, she whispered. Observing your struggle, your passion, your loneliness. It awakened emotions we're trained to suppress. She looked up at him. I was supposed to be invisible. That afternoon, Naya showed Marcus her memories. Placing her palms against his temples, she opened doorways in his mind. Visions of her violet homeworld with its twin moons, crystalline cities that sang with light, and vast libraries containing the stories of 10,000 civilizations. He saw Naya's childhood, so different yet familiar. Learning to observe without interfering, training her mind to record without judgment, he felt her loneliness among billions of stars. We're not so different, Marcus whispered as the connection faded, leaving them breathless against each other. In his dark room, converted from a spare bathroom years ago, Naya watched with fascination as Marcus developed physical prints of their day's work. Her fingers traced the emerging images with wonder. We record digitally, she explained. Perfect reproduction, but nothing tangible. Sometimes imperfection is what makes something real, Marcus said, lifting a print from the chemical bath. It showed Naya in profile against the city skyline, her otherworldly beauty captured in silver and shadow. That evening, Marcus cooked dinner while Naya experimented with his camera, taking photographs of ordinary objects from extraordinary angles. Their domesticity felt both strange and natural. When she wrapped her arms around him from behind, pressing her body against his back, Marcus felt complete for the first time in years. Later, as moonlight painted patterns across his bed, they came together with increasing urgency. Marcus traced constellations across her violet-tinged skin, mapping a universe he was only beginning to understand. Naya whispered words in her native tongue, sounds like music against his ear. I was sent to observe, she breathed as they moved together. Instead, I found home. The government agents arrived 3 days later. Marcus spotted them first, 2 figures in nondescript suits watching his building from across the street. Their unnaturally stiff posture and focused surveillance set off alarm bells in his photographer's mind. We need to leave, he told Naya, pulling curtains closed. Something's wrong. Naya's expression darkened as she peered through the gap. Energy signature trackers, she confirmed. My people aren't the only ones who monitor dimensional boundaries. Your government has a department that watches for quantum disturbances. They packed quickly. His cameras, her few possessions, and the portfolio of their impossible photographs. As they slipped out the service entrance, Naya's skin rippled with suppressed energy, the lavender tint temporarily fading to human tones. I can mask my signature briefly, she explained as they hurried through back alleys, but it drains me. They took a series of buses to the edge of the city where urban sprawl gave way to mountains. Marcus had a friend with a cabin there, a fellow photographer who'd gone abroad for the season. As night fell, they hiked the final mile through pine forests, Naya's skin gradually returning to its natural hue in the isolated darkness. The cabin was small, but secure, with solar panels and a generator. That night, huddled together before the fireplace, Naya explained the truth about her presence. I'm not just a researcher, she admitted. I'm also a refugee. My faction believes in connection between worlds and sharing knowledge rather than just collecting it. We're considered dangerous. Are you? Marcus asked, stroking her hair. To systems built on separation? Yes. Her smile was bittersweet against his chest. The following days established a rhythm. Mornings spent watching for pursuers, afternoons experimenting with Naya's abilities. She could manipulate light in ways that defied physics, creating images directly on his camera's sensor without a lens. Together, they documented what might be the first true record of interdimensional contact. Their evenings were for each other, gentle touches evolving into passionate embraces by firelight, whispered dreams between lovers from different stars. A week into their hideaway, the agents found them. The cabin's proximity sensors gave just minutes of warning, enough time to gather essentials and slip into the forest. Naya's energy signature flared with stress, her skin luminous in the darkness. They made their stand in an abandoned observatory at the mountain's peak. As agents closed in, Marcus set up his equipment one last time. "Whatever happens," he told Naya, framing her against the telescope dome, "this story deserves to be told." When the agents burst through the door, weapons raised, Naya stood tall, her true nature fully revealed. Skin radiating violet light, eyes reflecting galaxies. Marcus captured the moment as she raised her hands, not in surrender but in power. "You don't understand what you're interfering with," she told them, voice resonating with otherworldly harmonics. In that moment of confrontation, everything changed. The photograph Marcus took in that moment would eventually hang in galleries around the world. A violet-skinned woman haloed in impossible light, holding back darkness with outstretched hands. Critics would debate for years whether it was masterful digital manipulation or something more profound. Only Marcus would know the truth. The confrontation at the observatory ended not with violence but with revelation. Naya had shown the agents visions similar to what she'd shared with Marcus, enough truth to confound their certainties. Faced with undeniable evidence of her nature and intentions, the pursuit had paused. Negotiations had begun. 6 months later, Marcus and Naya stood on the same mountain under different circumstances. The government had established a classified diplomatic channel with Naya's faction. Marcus's photographs had become the foundation of a visual language between worlds, his unique perception bridging understanding where words failed. "They've granted me official status," Naya said, watching the sunset paint the sky in colors reminiscent of her homeworld. "First cultural attaché from another dimension. It has a nice ring to it." Marcus smiled, squeezing her hand. "Better than fugitive alien and her human accomplice." But beneath their light words lay the weight of decision. Naya's people had made contact, offering Marcus unprecedented opportunity. He could return with Naya to her world, continue their work documenting the connections between realities. "If I go with you," Marcus said, "it's one way, isn't it?" Naya nodded, her expression solemn. "The journey alters human physiology. You could return, but not as the same Marcus who left." The sun dipped below the horizon, stars emerging in the darkening sky. Somewhere up there, a violet world orbited twin moons waiting. "What happens if you stay?" he asked. "I would age differently. Watch you grow old while I remain." Her fingers tightened around his, "But I would not regret a moment." Marcus thought about that rainy night when a strange girl had spoken his name, about the words that had changed everything. The broken lens still sees truth. He understood now what she'd meant. His perception had always been unique, not flawed but tuned to frequencies others missed. "I once thought I was seeing the world wrong," Marcus said. "You showed me I was seeing parts of it no one else could." Naya turned to him, her skin luminous in the gathering darkness. "Whatever you choose, whatever we become, that truth remains." Marcus lifted his camera one last time, capturing her against the stars that might be her home or might be their shared sky. The choice crystallized in that frame, not between worlds but between perspectives. "When you found me in the rain," Marcus said, lowering his camera, "I was lost. Now I see clearly for the first time." His decision made, Marcus took Naya's hand, their fingers intertwining as they faced the horizon together. The stars above seemed to pulse in rhythm with their hearts, a cosmic acknowledgement of paths converging across impossible distances. What mattered wasn't which world they chose, but that they had found each other across the vastness of existence. A photographer who saw hidden truths and a starborn woman who felt forbidden emotions, creating a language of light between worlds. Their story, like the photograph of their first meeting, would continue developing, revealing new depths with time. An image captured perfectly in that moment when a broken man found a strange girl in the rain, and her next words changed his life forever. The rain fell in violent sheets, turning the city into a blur of gray shadows and reflected neon. Marcus Calloway hunched his shoulders against the downpour, his camera bag tucked protectively under his jacket. 3 months since his last decent photograph. 3 months since inspiration had abandoned him like everything else. The assignment deadline loomed tomorrow, another generic cityscape for another soulless corporate lobby. Marcus had ventured into this forgotten district hoping the decaying buildings might speak to him, might offer something raw and real. Instead, the rain mocked his efforts, obscuring his lens and soaking through his clothes. One more try, he muttered, ducking under the awning of a long-abandoned theater. His fingers, numbed by cold, fumbled with the camera settings. The world through his viewfinder looked as empty as he felt. A flash of movement caught his eye, something darting between buildings across the street. Marcus lowered his camera, squinting through the rain. There, huddled against a brick wall, a small figure trembled in the downpour. Against his better judgment, Marcus stepped back into the rain. "Hey," he called out. "You okay over there?" The figure didn't respond, but as Marcus approached, he made out the form of a young woman. Her clothes clung to her slender frame, her dark hair plastered against her face. She looked up at him with eyes that seemed to reflect no light. "You're going to catch pneumonia out here," Marcus said, already shrugging off his jacket. "Let me help you find shelter." The woman didn't move, just stared at him with an unnerving intensity. Then, in a voice barely audible above the storm, she spoke. "The broken lens still sees truth, Marcus Calloway. The images you've lost still exist inside you." Marcus froze, jacket half extended. "How do you know my name?" "Who are you?" "Naya," she whispered, her lips barely moving. "I've come a long way to find you." "Find me? Nobody's looking for me." Marcus laughed bitterly, but something about her words resonated in a hollow place inside him. His name on her lips sounded like a forgotten melody. "The photographs you burned after Elise left, they weren't failures." Naya's words cut through him like ice. "They were prophecies." Marcus staggered back. Those photographs, experimental double exposures he'd created during his darkest days. He'd told no one about them. Not even Elise before she walked out. "Who the hell are you?" The question came out as a hoarse whisper. Lightning split the sky, illuminating Naya's face for an instant. In that flash, Marcus thought he saw something impossible. Her skin seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly hue. "Someone who needs your help," she replied, finally accepting his jacket. "Someone who can help you remember who you were meant to be." As Marcus helped Naya to her feet, her fingers brushed against his wrist. An electric sensation raced up his arm, and for an instant, impossible images flooded his mind. Vast violet skies, twin moons, and falling stars that looked remarkably like ships. "My apartment isn't far," Marcus heard himself saying. "You need to get dry." Naya nodded, her strange eyes never leaving his face. "Yes," she murmured. "And you need to remember." As they walked through the rain, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that his world had just tilted on its axis, that the woman beside him carried secrets that would change everything. Marcus's apartment was a testament to a life suspended. Half-packed boxes from a move never completed, photography awards gathering dust, blank walls where gallery prints once hung. Naya stood in the center of the living room, water pooling around her feet as she took in her surroundings. "Tea?" Marcus offered, tossing her a towel. "And I can find you something dry to wear." Naya nodded, her movements fluid and deliberate as she dried her hair. When she emerged from the bathroom wearing his old university sweatshirt, Marcus nearly dropped the mugs he was holding. In the warm light of his apartment, her skin held an unmistakable lavender undertone, subtle enough that he might have convinced himself it was a trick of the light if not for the memories of those impossible visions. "Your skin," he said hesitantly, "is different from yours," she finished, accepting the tea. "Just as your world is different from mine." "You're not from around here," Marcus said. It wasn't a question. Naya smiled, a small, sad expression. "I came from very far away. My people observe many worlds, but we rarely interact. I broke our protocols to find you. Why me?" Marcus sat on the edge of his couch, mind reeling. "Because your photographs reached us." She approached his bookshelf, fingers hovering over a small black journal, his private collection of rejected works. "The light you captured. The geometries you saw through your broken lens, you glimpsed the spaces between worlds." Marcus watched, transfixed, as she opened the journal to an image he barely remembered taking. Distorted light patterns through cracked glass, accidentally double exposed. To him it had been a failure. To her, this is a map, she whispered. A map of the transit streams between your world and mine. That night, Naya slept on his couch while Marcus lay awake, his world transforming. In the morning, he found her examining his cameras with fascination. "Show me how you see," she requested. They spent the day wandering the city, Naya pointing out patterns Marcus had never noticed, the way light fractured around certain buildings, atmospheric disturbances invisible to everyone else. Through his viewfinder with Naya's guidance, the world transformed. His camera captured impossibilities, reflections that shouldn't exist, colors beyond the normal spectrum. "You're helping me remember how to see," Marcus said as sunset painted the sky in colors that reminded him of her skin. "And you're helping me understand what it means to feel," Naya replied, her fingers intertwining with his as they watched the stars emerge. Later, as they reviewed his photographs on his laptop, their shoulders touched. The contact sent warmth spreading through Marcus's chest, a sensation of connection he'd forgotten existed. Naya leaned closer, studying an image, her scent like summer storms and something exotic he couldn't name. When their eyes met, Marcus felt suspended between heartbeats. Naya reached up, tracing the line of his jaw with delicate fingers that left tingling trails across his skin. "There are many forms of seeing," she whispered, her face tilted toward his, "and many forms of connection." Their first kiss tasted like stardust and possibilities.